Shawna and Jody here with Real Sisters, Real Talk.
We're glad to have you joining us as we talk about growing in our faith with God.
Welcome to Real Sisters, Real Talk. We're so glad you're here for the conversation. I'm Shawna. That's my sister, Jody. We keep it real. We're not experts in anything, but we really love Jesus and we really love his word. So this conversation is probably going to go that direction with a few wild hairs. Let me just put it that way. I have to tell you, Jodes, what has happened to me over the last 24 hours. This is kind of like wigging me out. So my daughter Eden lives in Australia and she has a KitchenAid and she got this ice cream attachment. Like you can make homemade ice cream with your KitchenAid. Did you know this?
I did know this. Kellen has it. My daughter-in-law, Kellen has it and has made us ice cream. It is so, so good. So yes, I knew about it.
Yeah. And of course, like when we were little, mom and dad would make homemade ice cream on Sunday afternoon, but it was like this whole day thing with the big machine that sat in the utility sink in the laundry room, so to speak, that you had to keep adding ice and keep adding salt. So anyway, my daughter's telling me about this and I have a love and like this nostalgia kind of attached to homemade ice cream. So I was looking at the attachments, and I put one like in my cart, but I usually like dump stuff in my cart and then I put it in save for later. But I was also buying some new pages. I've got like a 3-ring binder calendar and I was looking for insert pages for 2026. I hadn't done that yet. And so I purchased some of those. Anyway, the next day, there's a delivery. There's a delivery at my front door. And there are my pages that I ordered. But underneath my pages is this beautiful KitchenAid box with the ice cream attachment. And I was like, I bought the ice cream attachment. I didn't buy the ice cream attachment. So it took some thinking to figure out how I did it because I didn't intentionally make the purchase, but I did intentionally put it in my cart and I did intentionally purchase the pages. And I got a bonus ice cream attachment for my KitchenAid.
Well, that's kind of exciting. I think it just means that you were meant to own the ice cream attachment for your KitchenAid.
Yes. And I actually have a full-sized add the ice, add the salt ice cream maker. So I think I'm going to keep the KitchenAid attachment and sell the big one,
Yeah.
But so after having my accidental purchase this morning, our postal guy comes up to the house and drops off a box. And I'm like, what's that? What's in the box? I didn't order anything. And so I've got this panic like, oh no, did I order something on accident again? And it's a box full of discipleship books, tools that somebody sent to me as a gift, which I just love, love, love. And I was super excited. And I was like, whew, I didn't purchase it. They were free, right? And then UPS stops by and they drop off a box. And I was like, oh, it's probably something, probably have Dan's name on it or Dre's name on it. Sure enough, my name. I'm like, oh no, what did I buy? It's another box. I open up the box and inside it's another one of the discipleship books, but coming from a different facility. So it was sent in a different way. I'm like, goodness gracious, I'm getting so worked up about this. Okay. So then FedEx pulls up with this huge box. And it says like Yahi Tech on it or something. And I was like, oh no, I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is, but I recognize that brand. I definitely was looking, what did I buy? And this is like huge. It's huge, Jody. This is like a piece of furniture box. I'm like, oh no, what did I accidentally buy? It's the next size dog crate. We have a Bernese Mountain Dog puppy and he's outgrowing the crate he's in right now. And so we needed to order the next size. But I just had this like constant panic of what did I accidentally purchase?
I've done that before where I've actually there's something that I put in the cart and then I'm searching like other brands or things like that. And so I put a couple things in the cart and then I delete the other ones and purchase it. And then there's 2 show up and you're like, oh, oops.
Oh,
guess
I get to try them both.
That.
Oh, it just really the last 24 hours, I was like, am I losing my mind? Did I literally wake up in the middle of the night and like shop online and purchase and I have no memory of it? Like, how did this happen? But it made sense once I realized I probably put it in the cart, didn't save it for later, purchased the pages. Anyway.
Yeah. And the little box was checked. Or we could just look at that in lieu of our podcast last week and say, maybe it was just an act of kindness that this
There you go.
ice cream machine showed up on your doorstep. That's kind of fun and exciting.
That I paid for.
That you paid for. That was on your credit card. It was an act of kindness for you from yourself.
Yes. I was being kind to my future self who loves ice cream so much.
Yes.
And I bought myself an
and
ice
you'll be
cream
able
maker.
to use that. I mean, especially when you have people over. How fun is that?
I know. I think I'm going to keep it.
You keep it, sister. You keep it.
Okay.
I'm going to put it on my list. I think that's a fun thing to actually have.
I'm very excited to try it out. I really do love some ice cream. And I told Eden that I accidentally bought this ice cream maker. She laughed hysterically. But then she also said, Mom, you can make healthy versions because I'm not doing sugar for Lent. And she's like, you can make, just use the, like a heavy whipping cream that's not sweetened or whatever, and add some date syrup or some honey or maple syrup and chop up some strawberries and throw them in there. So I think I'm going to give it a go.
What a fun, healthy treat. So I just have to tell you, I had gotten this I had this little ice cream maker. I have since given it away, but donated it. But I made a healthy, like dairy-free kind of frozen yogurt treat that was horrific. Terrible.
No.
So I would just say, if you have somebody you can get a recommendation of a recipe from, I would do that.
Oh, that's so sad. That would be really sad.
It was inedible.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, pressure's on. And if you have a recipe, a healthy recipe for a frozen treat, Real Sisters, Real Talk, you can reach us on Instagram and Facebook. Let me know.
Love to have that recipe. That's so funny.
Too fun.
Yeah. So honestly, we brought up last week's podcast, this resisting kindness, right?
Yes.
That just feeling like, and I not to put words in your mouth, but to kind of feel like, I don't know if we're not worthy of that act of kindness, or we don't want to put somebody out. I never want to be an inconvenience. I don't mind helping other people. I don't want to be the inconvenience. I'm going to tell you, this past weekend, I hurt my back, not doing anything beautiful, wonderful. I wasn't
jumping out of a plane or anything?
I wasn't jumping out of a plane. I was vacuuming the stairs in my house, and my back froze up. Took me out. I've never had that happen to that extent before. And thankfully I recovered really quite quickly, but I was laid out for at least 24 hours, a little bit more than that. Like, couldn't really, like, Johnny would have to help me get up, kind of thing.
Oh my goodness.
And to be that dependent on somebody, like, just the thought of maybe getting off the couch and grabbing a cup of coffee was like, oh, I can't do it. And he was so sweet and took such good care of me and all of that. And I'm so grateful for that. But I don't like being that person.
Come on.
I want to be the one to get the cup of coffee for you.
Yes.
I want to be the one, and I want you to enjoy me helping you. But it's hard for me to receive that. And so it's just, it really kind of pressed in on me also in this last week, which is interesting. But now you've had more time. This was kind of a real-time processing, a real-time learning.
Yeah.
As you've had time to process it a little bit more, have you had more things come up?
Well, first of all, I just have to say I'm so sorry about your back. And I'm also not surprised, because I don't know, it's uncanny how often the Lord surfaces something through one of us, and then the other one of us has a similar experience.
Isn't that the truth? It happens. Yeah. And before we ever started this podcast, it happens all the time.
Yep. Yeah. So if you didn't hear last week's episode, I just want to give you a quick, just catch up real quick. So through work, I had the opportunity to go to Kenya and traveled with just an incredible team, an American team that was incredible, and then a Kenyan team there that are now friends of mine that are just incredible. But one of the things that stood out to me on this trip that kind of surprised me, I guess I didn't know this about myself, or I didn't see it. It just was really obvious and I couldn't avoid it, was the fact that I didn't want to receive help from anyone. So we were in this little taking this little commuter plane from Nairobi to Malindi, and we needed to carry our suitcase like up these steps to get on the plane, boarding from outside. And this gentleman said, "Oh, Shawna, let me help you with your bags." And I was like, "No, thanks. I got it. Like, I do this myself." and then I get on the plane, and I'm finding my seat, and I didn't check any baggage on my trip to Kenya. So everything I had with me, on me, everywhere I went. So my bag was a little heavy. So anyway, but then it's time to like load the bag up in the overhead bin. And again, someone's like, "Oh, Shawna, let me grab that for you." And I'm like, "It's okay. I got it," and I'm like, heaving this thing up there, which probably where my neck injury happened, which I'm still struggling with, but just, yeah. Anyway, I just it happened like over and over and over again. And then somebody else offering me, some water before the waitress had a chance to get my own water. They were offering me their water bottle. And it was just like, I just kept resisting every act of kindness and every attempt to help me. So last week, I just brought it and we processed like we do. And Jody helped me to maybe figure out what was going on there and understand it a little bit, which was super helpful. And that's where kind of the discovery of like not wanting to be a burden and not feeling like I'm worth putting anybody out. Like I don't like that at all. But yeah, there's definitely been some more learning this past week, Jodes. I feel like the whole idea of not wanting to be a burden to somebody else sounds a lot more holy than what God revealed to me. So buckle up. This isn't quite that gracious.
I love it. Let's do it.
Okay. I realized that I do not want to be a damsel in distress in any way, shape, or form. Like, I don't want to receive help from other people because I want to be able to take care of myself. And yesterday I met with a friend of mine. We were at this coffee house and we were just talking about God and how good he is and gifts that he's given us, like literal gifts. Like, I want you to have this sweet, precious presence, right? And his presence is with us. And we were just having this sweet, sweet conversation. So we were there for like 2 hours, but we decided to pray together before we left. As we were praying, the song on the radio seemed so much louder than the prayer. Like, there are times when something gets highlighted in our thoughts, in our mind, with our vision, with our ears. There are times when something just stands out and seems significant. What was the song? Whitney Houston's "The Greatest Love of All." Okay. I believe the children are the future. You know that one? Teach them well and let them lead the way. Okay. So it gets to the part and it just seemed like so loud. The lyrics go, "I never found anyone who fulfilled my needs, a lonely place to be. And so I learned to depend on me." And then she like amps up and goes into this, "I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I lived as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity." And as I'm here, we're praying and I'm hearing this secular song on the radio, I know God is getting my attention. And I feel like he was pressing into my heart this, not wanting to be a burden or like wanting to do it all by myself. This fierce self-reliance is actually pride.
Right.
That I don't want to be reliant on anybody else for anything ever, because I can take care of myself and I can see where seeds were planted in my life. I can look back decades and see where almost where like I made a vow, like, all right, I get it. I have to take care of me.
Yeah.
That's how it has to be. And I even was told by someone about 8 years ago, you need to lead. You cannot follow. It would be to your detriment to follow. And so these things got deeply rooted in my heart, way beyond what is healthy, to a place where I have become resistant to receiving something from somebody else. And it's interesting because as we were praying yesterday and then the song kept going, the lyrics go, "The greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me." And of course, she means I learned to love myself.
Right.
Now
But
I have
that's not
everything I
what
need.
you heard.
That's not what I'm hearing, because the Spirit of
Yeah.
God is talking to me through this song, and I'm hearing, oh man, the Lord is my shepherd.
Yeah.
I have everything I need, but I need to rely on Him. And I felt like the Lord is inviting me. I think I said this last week. I'm not sure. You can tell me, but I feel like He's inviting me to soften my heart and to be more soft towards Him, more able to receive from Him, more open, less defensive, less independent, more reliant. And part of growing in that in my relationship with the Lord is growing in that in my relationship with other people as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that physical piece that translates from our hands-on world to our spiritual world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Couple thoughts as you're processing that. One visual came to mind. We had a speaker at a women's Lent event as we kicked off the Lent season a couple of weeks ago, and she shared this picture, and it was I guess it's on social media. I have not seen it before, but it was a picture of a little girl standing there holding this small little teddy bear, and Jesus.
Yes.
Have you seen
Yep.
this?
Yes, absolutely.
Jesus is in front of her on his knee, and behind him is this massive teddy bear. And
Yeah.
he's reaching for her little one. And she's like, you can see that she's like, I don't want to give this up. But she has
Mm-hmm.
no idea that Jesus has something 100 times better than what she's
Yeah.
holding in her hand. And so as you were sharing that, I was just thinking, oh, sister, you want to hang on to this because you've believed a lie, you went in agreement with the lie, and it's been adopted into what is right and good in your mind, which we
Mm-hmm.
all do. You want to hang on to that in lieu of what Jesus wants,
Mm.
right? And so as he's revealing this to you and you're letting go of your teddy bear, the gift that he gives in return is so incredible. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
so excited to even continue to check in with you because I believe as you get visual, I mean, I think you're starting to see the big teddy bear, but
Yeah.
as you start to live into that and the freedom that's going to come from that, I mean, okay, another word that came to mind, and I don't mean this in a judgmental way because I resonate with everything you are saying. Like we have things in our lives that we have no idea are a lie that we have come into agreement with, and then we live out of and into that. We all have it, but that like self-reliance becomes an idol,
Yeah.
and we almost
Well,
worship it because we'll give up anything to get it, right?
right. And it's man, I had the privilege of teaching on Isaiah 6, 1-8, not that long ago, and just seeing the Lord on the throne, seated on the throne, the train of his robe, filling the temple, you know, never in a million years we'd be like, pardon me, but can I have your seat?
Right.
But we do. And that's what I feel like this self-reliance is like, excuse me, king, I've got this one. Do you know what I mean? There's this, instead of relying upon clinging to Jesus, there's this pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. I'm fine. I got as like that Friends episode. I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't know why my voice is so high. I'm fine. But I do that. So
Yeah.
it's here's the thing. Let me just be really, really blunt about it. This is sin.
Yeah.
Pride is sin.
Yeah.
and it's sin that I threw the door open for and welcomed in.
Sister, I feel like in the last, I don't know, month or 2 months of podcasts, I feel like between you and I, this whole pride thing is coming up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like that the pride is the root of sin. Pride is what, keeps us from submitting to God. It's so much of I think what we wrestle with comes back to pride. I just shared with somebody this morning, somebody said something to me and it was not offensive or anything, but I could tell I felt agitated with it. And when I really wrestled it out with the Lord, it was like, oh, that's because it pushed in against my pride. Like it had
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do with what the person said. It had to do with what's going on inside of me. I would sure like to point to the other person and blame them for it, but it was really nothing to do with them, and it was all about my pride.
I can't
Yeah.
think of where it's found right now, but there's a verse, Jodes, that says, where do quarrels and fights come from? They come from the battle raging inside of you. And it's like, wait a minute. It's not from what she said? Because that was rude. Or I didn't like that. No. It comes from inside of you. There's something, there was a wound. There's a soft spot in there that got touched that causes us to feel, slap a hand, feel, don't touch that. That hurt. And we need to do the work of figuring out why that hurt the way that it did, or there's a festering wound there. But yeah, I'm reading through Leviticus right now, and sin is costly. It is so costly when you think about how in the Old Testament, how the Israelites would have to, they had to make so many sacrifices, but literally they'd have to lay their hand on the head of a living animal while that animal was slaughtered. They went from life to death, and that was the cost of their sin. That's going to make me emotional just talking about it. But because of Jesus, because of what he did on the cross, we don't have to make those sacrifices anymore. He was the ultimate sacrifice. And so I don't know that we feel the consequences of our sin as deeply on the regular.
Yeah. Because we don't have to face it so blatantly the way that they did. We've been studying Exodus with our women at church, and it's the same thing. Like we just went through the tabernacle and just the different depths of the tabernacle leading into the Holy of Holies, but where they sacrificed and literally talked about, the difference of the sacrifice then and how Jesus fulfills all past, present, and future sin, redeems us from that. But we lose sight of the gravity of our sin. Is that the right word? Would that be?
Yeah, absolutely.
The
100%.
seriousness of it. Yeah. Because we don't have to do that. And so, and that's a whole nother thing, honestly, we should talk about sometime is confession. Like confession's an important part of our walk with the Lord, because if we don't recognize our sin, we don't need a savior. So I'm going to speak this over you right now, sister. Like, thank you for being so humble and gracious and honest in the way that you're sharing what God is teaching you right now in this, because we get to learn so much from that. And then as you as God is teaching you this and you're learning getting clarity in this, what a sweet, not like a shame thing, what a sweet time to lean into the Lord and let him redeem this lie you've been living into, and do a 180 and walk in all that he has for you, all the riches, all the kindness, all the blessing. And you know what? That's not going to be, it's not like, yay, you learned that, Shawna. Now you're on the other, right? It's going to be a constant, oh gosh, there we are faced with that again. Okay.
Yep.
I'm trying, Lord, I'm learning. Help me, teach me, help me to see. And you catch it a little bit sooner and a little bit sooner each time. But what a blessing this is going to be.
Yeah, I'm definitely at the point right now where I'm seeing like, oh, I just did it again. Oh, there it is again. And so I want to get in front of that so I don't have to say, there, I did it again. I can go, oh, wait, sure, I would love that. Thank you for offering to help, rather than it's just so like in my muscle memory to resist and turn it down. But
Yeah.
yes, I am on the journey. God has made me aware and I'm walking it out. Thanks for helping me to process and to see what God's doing there.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. And I'm going to look forward to kind of revisiting this. And as God reveals more truth to you, we are on this journey of life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that sometimes we think we're on this journey to arrive, like, oh, I conquered that and I'm on top of that. And that's literally not what it is, because this journey of life is about relationship with God. And as we're in relationship with God, he continues to show us more truth and how much he loves us, and teaches us things about ourselves. And so it's a journey. We're on a journey with
Mm-hmm.
the Lord, and that means we'll be continuing to learn and grow and be challenged in this walk that we have with him. And so it's exciting to be on that journey. So don't get defeated if you out there are facing something right now and you feel like, oh, I'm still learning this, or I'm having to learn this again. Yeah, right back. We are too. We
Yeah.
completely, every step, it seems like every day there's something that God is reteaching or showing at a new
Yeah.
level. And we're just all on this journey together. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of our conversation and listening in. And again, if you want to reach out to us and connect with us, you can reach us at Real Sisters Real Talk on Instagram or Facebook. And also just want to mention, we don't mention this very often, but if you listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or something like that, if you can follow us, that's actually a great help to us to get our podcast out there. So we're so grateful for you. Remember, we serve a real God and he really loves you.